right, today is Practitioner Sunday, and as a minister, having people in service as practitioners is number one, valuable for our organization. Number two, they're just really deep individuals, and they walk their talk. And so when we have Practitioner Sunday, I'm always enlightened because they always have this wisdom that is beyond anything that I could ever imagine. So today we have Candace, Jody, and Sophia.
I'm Candace. I'm your virtual practitioner. And today I'm going to talk to you about circulation. We've been talking all month about abundance and money and how money is energy. And today I want to talk to you about circulating the energy of the divine. All the religions in the world that I'm aware of tell us that God is love. It's all God and it's all about love. And so that's what money is it's God in action, it's love in action. Everything is God, everything is love. And when that love circulates, miracles happen. But what happens when the flow is blocked? I'll give you a good example. Back in 1905, there was a breach in the dike on the Colorado River. And for 2 years, water flowed into the Coachella Valley into an ancient lake bed. And it created what we know today as the Salton Sea. Well, it was a wonderful recreational area. People came from all over the country to play there. The lake was stocked with all kinds of fish. So people came and they fished and they camped, they brought property, they built businesses. A lot of money was made. A lot of people had a lot of fun. But they shut off the water, so there was no fresh water coming into the lake. Agriculture became very popular in that area. It's a great area for growing vegetables. And so what happened is the runoff from the fields ended up going into the lake, bringing all the chemicals from the fertilization. And the lake began to get salty, and the chemicals began to compound. And eventually, the lake became too salty. Fish died by the thousands. I mean, the shore was just littered with fish. And that was because of the algae that had grown. Because of the algae, the fish had a virus. And when the birds ate the fish, thousands and thousands and thousands of birds died. So basically what happened is the flow of fresh water ceased. The flow quit. And eventually everything died. And that's what happens when we stop the circulation of love. When we stop loving people, when we stop loving each other and stop loving ourselves, that energy of love has nowhere to go. We become stagnant. Communities become stagnant. Countries become stagnant because there's no place for the love to flow. So when the flow ceases, that's when there is fear and greed and anger. And this is how wars begin. This is a limitless universe, folks. There is so much love. There is so much love we can't even begin to take all that we want and share all that we want. It doesn't make a dent in it at all because everything is about love. It's all about God. It's all about the flow of love and life because life is the flow of love. Frederick, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right or not, Buchner, who wrote The Magnificent Defeat, says, "Your life and my life flow into each other as waves flow into waves. And unless there is peace and joy and freedom for you, there can be no real peace or joy or freedom for me. To see reality, not as we expect it to be, but as it is to see that unless we live for each other and in and through each other, we do not live very satisfactorily. That there can really be life only where there really is, in just this sense, love. So, to borrow the words from the Bellamy brothers, just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow with the smallest of dreams, and let your love show. And you know what I mean. It is the season. Thank you very much. And now we will have some inspiration from our beloved practitioner, Sophia.
Was share it, ferret, do take a slice of my pie. And so when I saw that, I was asking, what does that mean? Who came up with this title? And what are we supposed to say? You know, I sat with that question for 2 weeks. And then we met last week to talk about it because I still didn't know what to talk about. And everybody had something to say, and I'm like, I still have to think about this. I have to ask, what does this mean? What am I to say? What needs to be heard? And then I woke up on Friday, and then the word circulation came to mind. And I just heard Candy say circulation. I'm like, oh my God, there goes my talk. But really, it's about circulation. And when I Googled this whole thing, a song came up. And guess what it was? Money by Pink Floyd. And this whole month is all about money. We're talking about money. So it's a line in the song by Pink Floyd. And I said, okay, I'm going to wear my Pink Floyd shirt today. And we're going to talk about circulation and what that means. Okay. So whenever I think about things like that, we know circulation, where is it in nature? Where can we find circulation? So the thing that came up was, water. But of course, we have circulation in our bodies too, because, blood flows throughout all our systems, and that's circulation. So think about circulation like a pond. If water only flows in and stagnates and can't support life, just like Candy said, if it only flows out, the pond dries and can't support life, just like she eloquently explained to us. Water needs to flow in and out of the pond to support life. And then to tie that into the whole idea of money. Money is a symbol of life energy we give and the life energy we receive as a result of the service we provide to others. Like a river, money must flow, keep flowing, otherwise it begins to clog and stagnate. Circulation keeps it alive and vital. If we stop the circulation of life energy, if our intention is to hold on to our money and hoard it, we stop its circulation back into our lives. Isn't that scary to think that that's what really happens? If we just hold on to it, we never get it back. We need to give it out in order to bring it back in. And I thought about how money, I watched a video about how a dollar travels round, even the fact that it could travel around the whole world and come back. Isn't that amazing to think that that's what really happens when we spend money, when we give it out, when we bless someone with something, that really comes back to us. It just comes round and round and round. I wish I could play that video, but it was 4 minutes about how that money goes. You spend $1. The dollar pays is taken by the owner of the business. The owner of the business pays his employees. The employees take care of their children or pay whoever takes care of their children. It just goes round and round and round and round and round. And that's how money helps us. Even though it's left us, it comes back to us and it helps us. So I found this in Science of Mind, and I wanted to read it because it really made an impression on me. Freely ye have received and freely give. When the law of circulation is stagnant, stagnation results. When the law of circulation is retarded, stagnation results. It's only when we allow the divine current to flow through us on and out that we really express life. What does that mean? I read somewhere, and I truly believe this, that God is, we say it, but do we really understand it when we say it, that God is all there is? That in us is that awesome power? That the divine flows through us as us? Do you ever really sat down to really think about what that means? That there is an awesome power within you that is the divine. That every day you are the divine. And that there is this life force energy that's within you that is everywhere present. Not just in you, but also in everybody around you has this awesome divine presence in them. It's mind-blowing. But at the same time, it's wonderful. Right? Yes. That the people that you walk with at work, the people that you see or you interact with every day have the same divine energy, and that divine energy is life force energy. Can you just contemplate that idea that this is what is, even as we sit here, that we are exchanging that same life force energy? That we're giving and we're also receiving, even though we do not see that thing or we, it's kind of, it's a beautiful thing to just know that something like that is happening without even knowing that it's happening. Can you really get what I'm trying to say without my saying it? That we're exchanging that same energy even as we sit here. Even as we listen to the talk. It's that energy. It's giving and it's also receiving. The law of giving and receiving is the next sentence. The law of giving and receiving is definite. So that means that it's sure, it's certain, it's always there. It doesn't change. It's a natural law. We see it in everything in nature. And so, as Candice explained, if it stagnates, then there's a cut somewhere. There is a separation somewhere. And we need to get that moving back. Emerson tells us to beware of holding on to too much good in our hands. What does that mean? Yes. Share it. Share it. Because it will always come back to you. Because of the unity underlining all of life, no man lives entirely unto himself, but through himself he lives unto the whole, which whole embodies all lives. Therefore, he that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life shall find it. I mean, the next couple of sentences explain what that means. But basically, what it's saying is that the more you give out, the more you find life, the more you enjoy life. Huh? So, live life is what it's basically saying. Don't just exist to exist, but live. And Deepak Chopra says, if you want to be blessed with all good things in life, learn to silently bless everyone with all the good things in life. The more you give, the more you will receive. In your willingness to give that which you seek, you will keep the abundance of the universe circulating in your life. And what does this all mean for all of us, for each one of us, for everyone? I always ask myself that question. What does, I mean, when I read stuff or when I hear stuff, what does that mean for me? Because we all have to think about this. What does this mean for me? How does this help me? What is the message here for me? And how can I use it? So for me, what that means is finding and living my purpose. Even if that purpose is just smiling smiling for the rest of the day, or being kind to someone, that is living. Finding joy in life and finding the good in everything that we see, and understanding that life actually supports us because life is all around us. And life is, the people that you meet every day. Huh? The things that you have surrounding you, all of those things are life because they help you live the quality of life that you're seeking. So being in gratitude of the things that you have currently, so that more will come, right? So that's how you circulate that life energy. Recognizing first off that everything around you is life, and you are life itself. You are life itself. I was reading Emily Cady. Oh my God, there was a passage or something she said that just stopped me. And it's the truth. God is all there is, and there's nothing else. All else is a lie. But that is such a huge, big truth that not a lot of people can grasp at once, but slowly but surely, grasping it one day at a time, that you are truly magnificent and that you're truly filled with power and you're truly awesome. Live your life with joy and with purpose, doing what you love and being love itself, just as Candice said. And the affirmation I said this morning, I wanted to share it with you, and I'll share it again with you. I align with law joyfully. I know I am one with the same law and intelligence that created all the amazing art and creative ideas that bless our world. My horizon is expanding. My mind is receptive, and I synchronize with divine love, joy, health, prosperity, and I have enough to spare and enough to share. And so it is. And Jody.
My personal experience with tithing. I had been attending a New Thought church in Alpine for a couple years, and in 2007, my minister came back from the Anton conference that affiliated New Thought network. And she was just lit on fire. And she shared the speakers' CDs. And one of the ones that I took home was, excuse me, Edwene Gaines spoke at the Anton Conference that year. And I came home and listened to that, and I fell in love with her. And everything she said made sense. Now, before that, I had been practicing New Thought, Science of Mind, for a number of years. And I was developing my prosperity consciousness. But I was still in the mindset that, like 12-step meetings that I would attend, you put $1 in the basket, and that's it. You were done. There was no law that said you couldn't do more than that. But, you know, I was very comfortable with that. My past experience with passing the basket in churches had a lot of negative connotations. And I know that many people still do have those kind of connotations, like passing the basket kind of gets our hackles up quite a bit. So there's a lot of controversy around that. So I'm listening to Edwene Gaines, and she went from being penniless to having a several hundred acre retreat center with everything she could ever possibly want. She told her story. And there was one point where she said, was in total desperation, on the floor, tears. I don't know how I'm going to feed my daughter. I don't have a penny to my name. Help me. And she came across Malachi 10. Malachi chapter 3, verse 10. I'm not particularly a big Bible person, and neither would she at the time. But it fell open. The book fell open to the page. It says, "Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, so there will be enough food in my temple. If you do, says the Lord Almighty, I will open the windows of heaven for you. I will pour out a blessing so great that you won't have enough room to take it in. Try it. Prove me." So Edwene decided to give God 6 months to prove it. And she tells her story it's like, and it was very methodical, and it was like, hey, Esther, get off the pot. And needless to say, it worked very well. So I read her, I listened to the CD, I read her book, and I think I'm ready to try this experiment. And I'll give it a year and see what happens. And I was able to look back at my records. I actually have my records. I'm very methodical. Every penny that comes in, interest on my checking account, a rebate, cash back, blah, 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 blah. All I can tell you is that at the time that I started this experiment, my income was significantly lower than my expenses on paper, my fixed income, my fixed expenses. Theoretically, on paper, I was always going into the hole every month. Well, that was in 2007, and I had taken out a mortgage, a 30-year mortgage, and I paid off the mortgage the 30-year mortgage in 15 years. And I have never, ever wanted for money. But there is, so it's like, I was convinced, and I have been convinced, I am a joyful tither. Another thing that I really like about how Edwene puts it is that she makes it very clear. There's tithing, that's 10%. It actually literally means 10% to give back to where you are spiritually fed. You know, what does that mean? It means where I'm inspired to know who I am. And it might be a church, it might be a friend, it might be a waitress, it might be anybody. Oh, that's not fair. She just said, Mina, I need more time. I've got so much to say. Okay, I want to really quickly say that her definition of prosperity, and she writes this book, which I think many of you have heard us all talk about, four things on prosperity. A vitally alive physical body to provide a comfortable worldly home for the spiritual being that we are. Relationships that are satisfying, nurturing, honest, and work all the time. Work that we love so much that it's not work, it's play. And all the money that we can spend. Edwene doesn't put these four laws out as optional. She says they're definite spiritual laws. But if your life is working for you and you're not following the laws, then, go right ahead. Interestingly, Ernest Holmes does not specifically mention tithing, but he talks extensively about the law of circulation. And the Bible doesn't talk about tithing, but it was so ingrained in that time frame that it didn't need to be said. It was just known. These are spiritual laws, spiritual principles. And we've already had a number of quotes from Science of Mind and Ernest Holmes. Dennis Merritt Jones in The Art of Being says, if you want more of whatever is your desire, you have to first prove to the universe that you are capable of having it by developing a consciousness that affirms there is no shortage of it. The only way to do this is by creating a vacuum or space for it to be received. And the only way you can create a space for it to be received is by letting go of what you do have, trusting that the universe knows what it's doing. That is the law of circulation in action. And also we talk about assimilation, elimination, and again, circulation, giving and receiving. They're all important, and including taking what you need or using what you need in a responsible way. So it's not like, oh, don't give me money, I don't need it. No, it's all part of the same circular flow. You can't ignore any one part of it. And I got a kick out of this quote. Phil Lott, money is my friend, says, if you have the ability to save regularly, it is an indication that you are at least as intelligent as the squirrel who stores away nuts for the winter. So, I am a joyful tither. I donate outside of that. There is no limit. 10% is according to Edwene Gaines and myself. Just the starting. It's the first baby step. And I know some people will tell you, well, if you can't do that, do something less, and that's fine too. but doing it with openness, with consciousness, because it's not about the money, it's about the consciousness of being open into the flow. It's about consciousness. Money is just the side benefit. It's the symbol of us knowing that my source is God. And okay, now I'll be quiet. Thank you.